Hi guys. So it's been a long time from I've done a movie review on this channel. I was going to do a 3 minute review. I've done a couple of them for TikTok and uploaded the videos up onto here, but this warrants more than a 3 minute review because I have a lot to say about this movie, Halloween Kills. So obviously, if you're following the Halloween series, this is the sequel to Halloween 2018, which was the sequel to Halloween 1978. Technically, it's not, but that's a point of contention among people. But basically, it's the second film in this new trilogy from David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, who's writing it. And so yeah, I'm fresh off. Well, not fresh off seeing it, but I went and seen it last night with my wee cousin because I went and seen the first one, and so this is going to be totally unedited. This is just my raw thoughts on it. And Kyle, my cousin Kyle, if you're watching this, I'm probably going to steal some of your thoughts and some of mine as well because, well, it's not really a spoiler when I'm saying this, but we spent the whole car journey home last night talking about it and poking holes in it. That gives you a kind of an indication where it's going. So let's start off. So my review for the 2018 film, if you remember, because I watched it the other day as well, and I don't really look too different compared to this, but that's beside the point. So I watched it. Sorry, no. I watched the 2018 film a couple of nights ago just to get myself in the mood to go and see Halloween Kills. Because let's face it, I was excited to go and see it. It's a Halloween film, and I was just excited to go and see it. So I watched the 2018 one. And my thoughts haven't changed on it. In fact, they might have got slightly worse on the 2018 film. I still say the side characters were the worst part of the movie of the 2018 one. Michael Myers, James Jude Courtney playing him was absolutely fantastic. Still absolutely brilliant. The 2018 one. So that was just a little refresher for me to just sort of go into it. So I got out of work yesterday. Got home, got showered, in a good mood. I was like, right, going to the cinema. Cinemas are back after this whole fucking pandemic, so I was excited to go and see Halloween Kills. So, went and seen it, went and got our food at the cinema, whatever it went. Sat down, turned the phones off, ready to watch the film. And the film started. And let me just say, in my opinion, I think this is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Straight off the bat. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I'll tell you why. But I'll start off with the positives first. The main positive, and I think everyone will be able to agree with this, was Michael Myers again. If you look at this film from purely a Michael Myers film, like a Michael Myers character study, if you will, not a character study. If you're looking at it just from a point of view that it's his film, he's brutal, he's creepy, sadistic, everything you want Michael Myers to be, everything he was in the 2018 film, it's back in this, and he's even more brutal. Because let me just say, it's called Halloween Kills for a reason. He kills a shitload of people in this film. You can quote me on that. So yeah, it's a much more violent Michael Myers, and the way he's portrayed is absolutely brilliant. The burnt mask really adds a lot to it, I thought. And when I first saw the first few images of it, I was like, "Oh fuck, that looks a bit dodgy. I don't know if I like it or not." But in the context of the film, it works. It really does work. So he was great. Not a problem with Michael Myers. In fact, best part of the film. The other positive we'll say is at the very start, this is going to be spoilers by the way, this time I will put it in the title because I didn't put it in the last review, but I will put it in the title. The other positive I was going to say is that at the start of the film, there's a flashback sequence to the night in 1978, and I thought it was so well done. Probably the best sequence in the film, I think. Well, one of the best sequences. I'll get to the other one in a minute. But it's a flashback sequence, meaning, I mean, they've already done flashback sequences in, like, Texas Chainsaw 3D. Just, oh fuck, less said about that the better. But obviously that was set in the same year. The start of it was anyway. It was set in the same year as the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it's not a new concept in horror, but the way that they execute it in this, the way the camera moves, the way the lens is filtered, the way the characters are dressed, the way Michael Myers looked. I don't know what they did to get the William Shatner mask, the way it was in the 1978 film, but it's identical. It was so well done, I thought, and that's what I'd heard in early reviews. That was one of the standout scenes, and I can confirm it was something else. It was really cool, and actually, for flashback sequence, it takes up a good 10-15 minutes of the film. It's actually a really long flashback, but that was a great sequence. The other great sequence is the sequence that sort of follows directly on from that, coincidentally, it follows directly on from the end of the 2018 film, where you see Laurie, her daughter, and their granddaughter getting drove away from Laurie's house that's on fire. And if you've seen the trailer, you've seen this bit. See the fire engines all going the other way, and they're saying, "No, let it burn," and all that sort of stuff. Well, the get this team of about 12 firefighters, and they go into the house, and obviously Michael was trapped in the basement at the end of the last film, and he's actually hid himself behind the gun rack. Obviously, he's been burned, obviously, because of the mask and all, but he hid himself behind the gun rack, and he just basically tricks one of the firefighters into giving him, like, a hand up from the basement. And yeah, it's in this scene you see why it's called Halloween Kills. It is, oh my god, it's absolutely amazing. He just annihilates the fuck out of these firefighters. He comes out, best shot of the film, I think. He comes out of the house holding a pick, and then he just holds it like that, and then he just goes to town on them all. Well, you only see him kill 4 of them, but later on, like, you see all their bodies just scattered across the lawn. And yeah, so it definitely earns its title there. So what I'm basically trying to say is here, like, the whole aspect of Michael Myers was, I think, done really, really well, exceptionally well, and this one even better than the 2018 one. That's the end of the positives. That is the end of the positives, because there are a lot of plot holes in this. Plot holes, bad writing, things that don't make sense, you name it, there's a lot of it in this. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them in detail, because I know I'll leave something out, and there's no point in that. So, as I said, this is just fresh in my memory, so I'll just go through a few of them. The main crux of this film is that they've brought back characters that haven't been seen in the franchise from the original. So you've Tommy Doyle, Lindsay Wallace, Sheriff Brackett, and Nurse Marion. Sounds weird calling her that, but I think that's what they call her in the credits. I'm not too sure. But anyway, they're back in it. Sheriff Brackett, Sheriff Brackett, Nurse Marion, and Lindsay, they're all played by the original actors, which I thought was really cool. And then you have Tommy. Tommy's played by Anthony Michael Hall, who, if you're a fan of 80s films, he was in, like, The Breakfast Club and Weird Science. Edward Scissorhands, he played the asshole boyfriend in Edward Scissorhands. He's been in a whole load of stuff as well. I think he was in The Dark Knight as well, for like a bit part, but I thought it was class he was in it. So that's the main crux of this. They're really trying to tie it back to the original, and in a word, wasted. Absolutely wasted. In particular, Marion barely does anything, and then she gets slaughtered. Although she does have the best line of the film. "This is for Dr. Loomis." Yeah. I'm not going to do all the lines, guys. I can't do them justice. So yeah, they were wasted. They pretty much all end up dead except for Lindsay, and that's another thing. Lindsay's part of one of the more tense scenes in the film, where she does the cliched horror movie chase, where she's getting chased by Michael through these woods, and she does the cliched thing. She stops and hides instead of just keeping going. Now, all the happening now, Michael ends up walking off and not finding her. So all Michael does to her is grabs her by the throat and pushes her up against the car. So they basically they find her and bring her to the hospital, and they tell the doctors to bring her to the emergency room. I mean, there's people running about with stab wounds and everything, and gunshot wounds, and they're telling them to bring her to the emergency room. Doesn't really make any sense, but none of this maybe makes sense. I'm gonna be honest. So what else can I talk about? So yeah, the historic characters were absolute waste, and some of the acting. I could go on for length about that. The main thing that I noticed was the writing and like the script, because I'm not telling a lie here. Every third line out of people's mouth in this film is "Evil dies tonight," or "We have to kill him," or "I have to kill him," or "Neither of us can live while the other survives." That might be Harry Potter, but the point still stands. And it is like, I mean, I thought, right, granted they're trying to put this message across that Michael's evil and the whole town's out to get him, but I'm not joking. It's like the third line from every character, and they say it over and over again, especially the second and third act. It's over and over and over again, and like, it's comical. You can't do anything else but laugh at it. It's like, you would have put me in mind of. It was like the Star Wars prequels. Like, everyone remembers the Star Wars prequels. Like, obviously there's stuff that we love now in the prequels because, well, people my age grew up with the prequels, and we can sort of forgive them for things, but the dialogue's unforgivable in the prequels. It's like bland, and it's written in the way like normal people would never say it. And it's the same in Halloween Kills. Like, Laurie, Jimmy Lee Curtis, she gives these speeches, and they're like, no normal person would talk like this. They're saying like what does she say? She says, "This is the darkness I made." And it's like, it's not Henry the fucking Fifth here. Like, I mean, it's a fucking slasher film. Oh God, I don't know. There's just, as I said, I'm not going to go into too many specifics because I will leave something out. But I'll see what else. Side characters again. Side characters annoyed the fuck out of me. In fact, the characters in general, there wasn't a single character in this film that I would have cared if they had been killed. If had been killed, I would have loved them all to have been killed in this film because they were fucking terrible. I mean, there's the granddaughter, Laurie's granddaughter in the 2018 film was probably the most interesting character, and she's barely in this one. And when she is, she's terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's terrified. She's acting terrified, but she's absolutely terrible. And while I'm on that, Judy Greer playing Laurie's daughter. I think I said it in the first review, but if I didn't, here it is. She phoned it in. She was so wooden, she was a fucking coffee table. I mean, she phoned it in. Well, in this film, never mind phoning it in, she may as well have been in her own house and FaceTime on the set. She was that fucking bad. Jesus Christ. I mean, me and Kyle were talking last night, and Kyle came up with a very good idea. Judy Greer must have wanted out of this, because she was that bad. She was so, like, I mean, she was looking off camera half the times I got, and she was like, there was no inflection in her voice. There's no passion or anything. And at the end, she is the last kill of the film, like as a surprise at the end, and you don't feel anything because she doesn't feel anything. It baffles me. So yeah, I do tend to agree with Kyle. I think Judy Greer must have got sick of this shit and just said, well, listen, I'll come back and do the sequel, but you better kill me off because I'm not doing any more. I'm sick of it. So yeah, that was woeful. Absolutely woeful. And I thought it was funny how they finally acknowledged that the dad was killed in the last film, because they didn't acknowledge it at all. Thought that was funny. Um, yeah, worst character in the last film, and they brought him up. So that was that. The only other thing that I want to talk about, and I'll try and be brief for this, I'll try not to drag on here because I'm probably already sounding like I'm rambling, but that's just me on a daily basis. I have to live with it. But the only other thing I want to talk about is what they seem to be doing with Michael Myers. Now, when they first announced, like I think it was 2017, when they announced that this film was going to retcon all the sequels, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, 6, H2O, Resurrection, and the Rob Zombie films. When they announced that they were going to retcon all that, what came along with that was that they said this was going to be a more grounded Halloween. This was just going to portray Michael Myers as a killing machine, as a man. In this film, they established that Laurie was never his focus, which I like, because if you're not going to make her his sister, then why the hell is he going after her in the first place? So I'll give them that. I'll give them that. That makes sense. So Laurie is not his target. So as I said, that us want to make clear. So he's just going around killing indiscriminately, which is good. Sort of ties in with the original film more. That's good. But what happens to him over the course of these two films? He can't be human because he's been shot. Well, in the first film, 1978, I'm talking about, he was shot 6 times, fell off a balcony. Now, granted, you could say he missed all the vital organs, or it was adrenaline or whatever. That's fair enough. But then, obviously, in the last film, he had his fingers blown off. He was stabbed. He was left in a burning basement to die. So he's half burned. In this film, he gets the shit kicked out of him. He gets beaten with 2x4s. He gets stabbed. He gets shot. He gets strangled at one point. I mean, and there's a whole part of the end where the whole big posse of the town, they all gang up on him, and they beat him to death. And he gets up, and he keeps coming. Now, I don't care if you're stronger than you look, if it's adrenaline, if you're off your face with fucking Quaaludes and Coke, I don't give a fuck. No one gets up from half the shit that he's been through in these two films. So, are you telling me you've retconned about 7 or 8 films because you didn't want him to be portrayed as like this ghostly figure, this evil incarnate, only to turn that around in this film? Because the way they're sort of saying it is, he kills because, what are they trying to say? Like he kills because there's something inside him that's making him kill. Ergo, he's possessed by some higher power or something. So he's not a man. In the worst case, what's the point of these films? These last two. There's no real point to them. You could have just done that. You could have just done this like a continuation of Resurrection, and have Laurie stay dead, and just have it take place like 18, 20 years after that, and have him as, oh god, I don't know, but that's the biggest takeaway I took from this film, was what's the point of it now? Because obviously it's going to be a trilogy, so we're getting Halloween Ends next year. Knock on wood that the pandemic doesn't rear its ugly head again, but we're getting it next year, so it's going to be the last part. And I will say, I'm looking forward to it because I want to see how they end this. Because I don't see how they can end it in a satisfying way, because they've basically wrote themselves into a corner with this film. I think they've tried to do too much, and I think it's going to backfire on them. So, closing thoughts. Big plus, Michael Myers. Big plus, the kill scenes, the gore, and this is amazing, the practical effects. See, the first half hour of the film, which includes that flashback sequence I was talking about. So those three things are all a big plus. Apart from that, it's like a silly directed video B movie. And actually, I found it more insulting than Halloween Resurrection, with Buster Rhymes roundhouse kicking Michael Myers in the face and telling him trick or treat, motherfucker. I mean, I found this film more insulting than that. In fact, me and Kay were sitting in the cinema last night, and we were the only two like laughing, like openly laughing. Like everyone else was like, screaming and jumping and getting on, and we were just sitting laughing at the dialogue, at the absolute absurdness of where the movie was going in the last two acts. And I mean, I don't think I can say any more than that. But what I'm going to say is, go and see it. A, to support cinemas, because cinemas need all the support they can get right now after this shit show of a COVID pandemic, so they need the support. But I would say this film is in the category of so bad that it's good. And to me, if you're a fan of Halloween, you do have to see it, I think, because the sheer absurdity of it is something you have to see. I mean, oh god, I don't have the vocabulary necessary to convey that, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to end it there. Yeah, we're running on the 22 minutes here, so I'm guaranteeing you I've rambled and I haven't noticed. So if I have, I apologise. But I will say, go and see this film. It's an experience. That's all I'm going to say. So all that's left, guys, is to thank you all for watching. I'm not going to go through all the usual shit of saying where I've been or what's wrong or sorry I haven't been here. Shit happens. So whenever you see a review from me, you'll know I want to talk about a film. So guys, thanks very much for watching as always, and I'll see you around. And by the way, evil dies tonight.